Hey guys, my name is Winden, and welcome to my ultimate Senna guide. I will cover every single aspect of this champion, so after watching it, you will know everything you need to climb your rank with her, and what is more important, playing against her. Senna is a strong marksman support with a huge range poke abilities that not only deal damage, but heal teammates and Senna too. She can be a decent solo laner, but in my opinion, she fits support role the best due to her kit and abilities. Let's make it step by step guys, starting off with her strengths and weaknesses. Her main strengths will be great scaling, very high range, she's a great damage dealer or healer depending on your itemization. She has unique stealth mechanic and global ultimate. As for the weaknesses, let's start with the super simple. She's an AD carry support, that means her playstyle is more similar to AD carry one and can be a bit unusual for some support players. She's very squishy and has little escape tools. That leads to the next weakness. She's vulnerable to melee supports like Nautilus, Leona or Blitzcrank. She has also long cooldown on her abilities. And she has weak laning phase with passive AD carry. Now let's talk about her abilities. Senna's passive, Absolution, makes her auto attack slow to fire, but deals bonus damage. She can power up its range, attack damage and crit chance over time by absorbing mist from enemy champions she is attacking, or from wraiths that spawn from dead enemies. Here are some important tips for her passive. Wraiths spawn from siege minions, big jungle monsters, and dead enemies with 100% chance, and occasionally from melee and caster creeps. This is the most important scaling feature Senna has, and it is also one of the reasons why Senna support feels so much better than ADC or solo laner. You primarily focus on harassing opponents in lane with your range, and gather revs in between, and it is really hard to focus on farming and wave management at the same time. Way too many prime tasks in lane spread your attention, leaving you vulnerable for enemies to punish you. That is why she feels best as support, where she can focus on few prime tasks and excel at them. Now let's move to her Q ability and probably the key one, Piercing Darkness. Senna fires a bolt that heals her allies and damages her foes. She can make Q comes back faster by keep attacking enemies. This ability is your bread and butter, and in my opinion, the key part about this champion. What really separates good Sennas from bad ones is knowing fully how her Q works. Let's check out some Q tricks to make you a better Senna player. Make sure you always auto-attack before your Q if possible. Make a good habit to auto before your Q to maximize your damage output. Trust me, it requires very little extra time to auto before Q, but the result is dealing twice as much damage. Try to hit multiply targets at the same time. Always look for opportunities to hit both enemies and your ADC with your Q. You will not only maximize your damage, but also heal a decent amount of HP for your ally. Your Q can target everything. You can use wards to fire it through, and finish enemies if they are too far from you. You can also use towers and allies to shoot through. Do not forget about that too. Now let's talk about her W, Last Embrace. Senna commands the mist onto the first target hit, damaging them and then rooting that target and surrounding enemies after a brief delay. Treat it as a slower Morgana Q. It is a very powerful ability when it comes to killing enemies and the only CC Senna has. Use it as a harass tool in lane and keep it up if you know the enemy jungler is coming. Look for opportunities here and try to root more than one person at the same time. Punish enemy bot lane if they always keep close to each other. Your basic trait pattern will be W onto the enemy and then auto attack and Q right afterwards. That simple combo deals a lot of damage, so try to master it as your basic trait combo in lane. Senna's E ability, the Curse of the Black Mist, dissolves her into the cloud, gaining movement speed and camouflaging her and her nearby allies. Teammates who emerge from the mist appear as unclickable rafts to enemies, until they either attack or get close. As for the build order, I suggest you not to pick this at level 3, but instead put additional pointed to Q. This ability is not a game changer in lane, and level it up only if you are pressured hard by enemy jungler, or if you need more safety for yourself and your AD carry, although it's unique and can be used offensively as well. As for the Senna's ultimate R, Down in Shadow, Senna fires a global beam. Allies in the beam are shielded and enemies caught in the center of it take damage. Now this can be a game changer skill. Make sure you look at the map right after level 6. Use this ultimate to help out other lanes with a bit of extra damage and a nice shield for ally on top. You will get the most results of Senna's abilities with your damage or shields dependent on items you build. Now let's talk about Senna's build. We already know that she's non-traditional AD carry, so simply traditional ADC crit build won't work for her, at least as good as on the other AD carries. You want to make sure you get the maximum value from your passive, so the best option here will be choosing lethality items, if you want to build pure damage. But honestly, some of you guys might be surprised, but Senna is a beast with her healing capabilities. I will go over two main builds high-elo Senna's abuse at the moment. Important note here guys, as the marksman support, Senna can give you a bit of flexibility with her itemization, so do not blindly build her the same every game, but rather adapt and cover your team weaknesses with her. Most case scenarios, you should aim for healer Senna build. Now, don't freak out guys. If you haven't tried this build already, I suggest you to look at the Senna from the build perspective. Senna is a scaling support. She has already good damage and range, and that is the key part that allows you to build full pillar build, being a good damage dealer and a healing beast at the same time. Among the runes, high elo players mostly prefer Summon Airy. That works awesome with Senna's kit, utilizing both damage and shield boost from it. Mana Flow Band will give us additional mana and mana regen later on, which is always good to have. And Transcendence will cover one of their weaknesses as long cooldowns. And the Scorch will give you additional damage in lane to poke enemies harder. As for the second page, I suggest you to go for Resolve, where you can cover your other weaknesses like being squishy. Or be a better healer overall and choose Fount of Life and Revitalize. Of course, you can always go for full lethality build if your team lacks damage, or if you have a non-traditional ADC in bot lane. Another great items on her will be Rapid Fire Cannon, which will boost already enormous range even more. Or you can always go for Zhonya's or Banshee's Veil to get additional survivability. Let's actually jump into the game and see what Senna is good at during laning phase. Senna's playstyle is simply close to aggressive squishy support like Nami or Soraka. You always want to punish enemies with your range and use your Q to deal damage to foes, /heal ally. Your kit gives you damage to outrate almost any AD carry at level 2, providing great opportunities to all in. Make sure to position yourself properly, especially versus melee supports. Senna, like many other bullies, can grant you so much lead if used properly. And on the other hand, it is hard to be useful and come back into the game when the laning phase is lost. In the mid to late game, you want to position yourself like a standard AD carry. Stay safe in a backline, deal damage with your long range. Collect all the mists you can get to scale faster. Do not forget to prioritize healing over dealing damage if you go for support build. Use your crucial ability E in the teamfights to make your ally untargetable for further enemies. And for the last, let's look over other important Senna tips you can use to be ahead of other Senna players out there. Epic monsters drop 2 Wraiths on death, which means your playstyle should be focused more on roaming and grabbing that mist from additional waves and objectives. Next tip is crazy one guys, and still wasn't noticed by many players. Did you know that Yasuo's wall cannot block your auto attack and Q ability? Like it is nothing standing in front of him. On the other hand, this wall plus Braum's shield can both fully block your W and ultimate. I already said before that your Q can hit through everything. And guys, I did really mean it. You can even shoot through the fruits in the river and the blast cons in the jungle. You can also use your teammates' placed abilities like Jin traps, Hammer's turrets or Shaco traps, and the other place skills with health indicators. Do not forget about this feature. And the last tip is about picks and matchups. I already mentioned that Senna can show her best when paired with aggressive or poke ADC. The best partners will be Caitlyn due to her high range and trap mechanic, and Lucian with the same but more close combat aggressive playstyle. And the other AD carries with a good poke or chain CC like Varus, Jhin, Ashe and Miss Fortune. That's it for today's video, guys. If you found this guide useful, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, do not forget to follow me on Twitch and Twitter to stay tuned and ready for more upcoming content. And I got a question for you guys. What do you think of Senna as a champion? And what buffs or nerfs you want to see in the future? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.